Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video. In this one I want to share with you guys how you can create those super amazing and unique sounding samples all from scratch in FL Studio. So you guys already know we're not going to waste any more time, let's just jump straight in. Alright, so we are now here in FL Studio 21 as you guys can see, and for this exact video I just wanted to break down this sample right here. So you can hear it has a super unique vibe to it. The bass as well. Switches up on the second part. Yeah, so you guys pretty much get the point. The sample may sound super unique to some of you, but it is actually not that hard to make. So I'm very quickly just going to break down the sample in a step-by-step pattern. So the first thing we have is just a chord progression using Analog Lab 5. This is how the chords sound without any effects on. Then we are just copying that over for the second part. But if you guys actually want to make something similar to this, it is not that hard to make at all. So in this case, the BPM is 132 and the scale is E minor. And literally all we want to do is just make a normal E minor chord like this. That right there is going to be the first chord. Then literally all we need to do is just copy that over. But for the second chord over here, you can see the top note has a half step right above it. So all we're going to do with this one is just pitch it up one semitone. And then this middle note, we're just going to pitch up 2 semitones. That is literally everything you have to do for the second chord. And then we're just going to copy the same exact first chord over on the third part. Now on this last section over here, I actually did something a little bit cool. So what I firstly did was I just copied this chord over. But this time I'm just going to cut it up in 2 like this. And then I'm going to pitch this up by 5 semitones. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see all the notes line up into the scale, so it's going to sound amazing. But then for the last part, we're actually just going to copy the same exact second chord we used earlier, and again just shorten it a little bit right there. And then we can also cut this top note in half and pitch it down 1 semitone. Now that we have the chord progression down, we're just going to copy the same exact root notes and pitch them down 1 octave, so we get a little bit of that lower tone as well. Then to finish off the pattern, just copy the whole thing over for the second part, and that's pretty much how you can create a very similar pattern. Now when it came to the effects, I really wanted a vintage, reverse and ambient type of sound. So to start off with, I just added RC20 using the Vinyl 3 preset. This is going to give us that vintage texture we're looking for. Then for the reverse part, I added this reverse spacious preset in Effect Rack, while also messing around with the reverse section in a Shaper Box 2. So in the effect, I just made this reverse pattern right here. And with the Effect Rack, it really goes hand in hand to get that reverse sound out of the keys. Lastly, I just added this EQ to cut out a little bit of that low end, and also this ozone imager just to widen out the sound a little bit. Okay, so this is the keys with the effects on. You can hear the reverse. Alright, for the next sound, I added this one shot right here. So a cool trick I did with this exact one shot is that I actually pressed this reverse button over here. And then I literally just added 1 single note on the same exact root note from the keys. And with a little bit of reverb, panning and EQ, this is how it turned out. So it almost gives us a sound of a reverse open hat. But since we had a couple of reverse effects in the keys as well, these two sounds really go very well together. The next sound I added was just a bass right here. Alright, so the bass may look a little bit more complex than usual, but I will give you guys a great tip if you want to make some similar bass patterns. So in my personal opinion, you should keep the bass pattern very simple for this first part over here, and then you can make it a little bit more complex on the second part. So what I'm doing for this first part is pretty much just treating the bass as an 808. So I'm pretty much just trying to put the bass in like an 808 with a lot of space in between the hits. So you can see on the first 2 bars, we only have 3 bass hits right there. The same thing goes for the second part over here, and it is pretty much just following the root notes as you guys can see. But on this second part, I did a little bit of a cool trick. So what I did over here was I just used a note that was 1 octave up. So you can see all the normal hits hit at E5, but this one is going to hit on E6, and then we are going to put a sliding note right after that slides down to the E5 again. So if you guys want to recreate this, all you have to do is just put a note over here, and then you're just going to go over to this slide button over here and make sure you press 1 down to this E5. That is going to give us this cool sound right here. Now, if you guys want to learn more saucy tricks like this one, I have actually released my producer master course. It is a complete course on how to actually become a music producer. So it is going to teach you all about making some good quality samples and beats, while also teaching you guys how to actually monetize and make money off the music you are producing. So it is literally a step-by-step guide on all the information that you need if you actually want to take your music to the next level. And trust me, if you feel like you are learning a lot from these videos, you are going to learn a ton from the course because you have everything in one place. And trust me, I'm not holding back on any information in this one. So if you guys think that sounds interesting, you can obviously just click the first link down below, or you can go on my website. It is BBMarko.com. Just look for the producer master course and take it from there. All right, the next sound is just this phrase over here, which I put in the background of the sample. So as you guys can see, I did put the mode to stretch, and I also turned the volume down a lot. This is just so it doesn't interfere with our main sample. It is kind of just supposed to be in the background, so it really enhances the whole sound. So I have it pitched down for this first part, and then we pitched it up for the second part. That is where the switch up comes in. You can pretty much find these type of phrases everywhere. They are in a lot of different kits, but I would also recommend you guys to look through Splice, as they also have a lot of phrases that you can tuck in the background like these ones. Lastly, I just wanted to add a little bit of ear candy here and there. So again, I found a couple of phrases from Splice, and I pretty much did the same exact thing as the previous phrase. So kind of just tucking them in the background of our sample. So the last thing I did was just render out the whole sample like this, open it up and pitch it down by 2 semitones. So that is pretty much the sample right there. Really like this switch up on the second part. Alright, now that we have this sample finished, I feel like we can quickly add some drums to this. As for all the drum sounds I'm using, they are of course coming from my Euphoria bundle kit. So if you guys like the drum sounds you hear, you can obviously check them out. They are again on my website, it is BBMarko.com, or you can just click the second link down below. So let's just start off with this clap and snare, just to get that bounce. It's gonna be a simple pattern. Get the hi-hats going as well. Simple pattern, a couple of rolls. Now I can really go crazy with the perks and open hats. Yeah, that reverse open hat is perfect. So we have a cool bounce with the perks. Let's try to add an open hat over here as well. I need to shorten that one a little bit. So what I'm going to do to shorten that open hat is just open it up over here and turn up the out knob. Yeah, now it's perfect. Alright, so now we need to add the 808 and the kick. So to add the 808, the first thing I'm going to do is open up the 808 folder over here and find a short hitting 808. So I think we can just drag in this one right here. Just drag that in. Now, since I actually very much like how the bass pattern sounds on the melody, I will actually go over to the bass pattern over here, and I'm literally just going to highlight the whole thing over here, press Ctrl C to copy, and then we are just going to go back to our 808 and hit Ctrl V. So remember guys, this 808 is just following the root notes, but since we pitched down the whole sample by 2 semitones before we started putting the drums on, we also want to pitch down the 808 2 semitones. So now with the 808 pattern instead of the bass, this is how our drums are going to sound. Just a minor tweak. Yeah, that's fire right there. And switch it up over here as well. Alright, let's quickly just add a kick to that 808 and that should pretty much be it. Alright, so this is the final beat. I seriously feel like this one turned out crazy. So let's take a listen. Right, so we have the intro right here.
Shut up, Marko. Marko?
Bass comes in a little bit late. Added a lot of effects from the Euphoria bundle kit as well. Then it drops. First part of the hook right here. Yeah. Second part. Cool little effect right there in the middle. Then we go down to the verse. Slow the vibe down a little bit. Bass and kick this time, not the 808. Second part of the verse. 808 is back. Slows down to a bridge. I did a little bit of that love filter to get the underwater sound. And it drops.